All right. Welcome back, YouTube, to the GOATcast podcast. Today, I'm your host, BigNige, joined by, of course, CW, where we give you NBA topics, past, present, and future. How are we doing today, CW?
Doing pretty good. How you doing?
Just came off a great pickup game, hit the last three threes to win the game. So,
Okay.
safe to say the matchup that was guarding me today wasn't really the best. But,
You got a future NBA star in the making over there.
man, one of my friends, he brought his two sons out there, and one of them told me I played like Joel Embiid, and I was like, definitely appreciate that, but I unfortunately didn't get to grow to be
Yeah,
7 feet
you
like
need, you
some
need a
people.
few more inches, but
Give me a foot and I'm
close
good.
enough. Close enough. Close enough.
But speaking of matchups, we got the play-in coming up.
Mm.
For the West, we have the Suns hosting the Kings so far, and the Lakers and the Warriors. We'll start with the West. What are your thoughts on the Suns versus Kings? Since it's a winner take all kind of thing, there's obviously
Yeah.
anybody who doesn't know, 7 and 8, they play one, and the winner of that game takes the seventh seed. The
Hmm.
loser of that game plays the winner of the 9 and 10 game, and obviously the 9 and 10 when they play, they get to play the loser of the 7 and 8 game. Just for anybody who wasn't aware. But again, I ask, Suns versus Kings, who you got?
That's gonna be an interesting matchup. Actually, the Kings are playing right now. They do have the potential to move up to six. I don't think they will, but if everything stays the same, Suns Kings. If I was a betting man, and you'll probably think I'm crazy, but I'm going Kings. I just
Mm.
think that they the Suns don't have anybody to match up with Sabonis. He's I'm watching him tonight, and I've been watching him. He's just a offensive rebound monster. He's a putback monster. And if you don't put somebody on him or keeps him out of the paint, he's just going to light you up. And plus, he can kind of facilitate the offense, which De'Aaron Fox, who does the Suns have to stay in front of De'Aaron Fox? Nobody. Um, they are missing what's his name? Kevin was a Herter,
Yeah, Herder, he's
and
done.
Malik Monk is out. But um, I just think that they have enough that I think they can beat the Suns. I mean, you look at the Suns; they are a veteran team. They have Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker. You got Nurkic. You got all these guys, but matchups. I mean, styles make fights, and I think stylistically, the Kings match up very well with the Suns. I think the Suns match up better with the upper tier, which sounds crazy, but I feel like they would do better against a Minnesota, a Thunder, even a Denver. But I think the Kings are just too quick, too fast, too big, and do things too well for them to really uh, get win that matchup. So I'm going Kings.
Yeah, so I definitely disagree. I think losing Kevin Herter and Malik Monk, especially Malik Monk, it's a
Hmm.
big blow and a harder to overcome if you're the Sacramento Kings, especially going up against a lot of firepower in the Phoenix Suns, and they will try to outshoot you. And even though the Kings are a very fast-paced team and they'll shoot with the best of them, they're missing two knockdown shooters, man. Even Malik Monk, he's more of a scorer, but
Yeah,
he's one of their top. I'd say he's their third most important player behind Fox and Sabonis. So losing him when the Suns are going to have their big three, their three guns with KD, Book, and Beal, it's going to be hard to overcome. And with the play-in being, winner take all, it's not like a series.
yeah,
It's a one and done. Anybody could go cold. Anybody could have a big game and carry their team to it. But for me, I just, and we talking one game. I think the Suns just have too many advantages, and the Kings are just too depleted to match up well with them for this one game. And it's in Phoenix is hosting it, so I mean they've
yeah.
taken care of business when they played the Kings this year. So
Yeah,
I have the Suns in a close game, but
yeah,
I have the
I
Suns.
get that. I just think those little intangibles that Sabonis and Fox have, I think can match up well with the Suns. But I completely agree with you. It can go either way, but it's gonna be a good game.
All right. What about the Lakers and the Warriors?
Now this is the main event of the playing tournament. We all know that. Um, and we just saw the Lakers come off of a loss to the Golden State Warriors, of course, without Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis, in my opinion, is the key. I could deep dive into this, but I'm not. The Lakers are a very bad defensive team on the perimeter. They let teams just shoot. Um, but with Anthony Davis, they're hard to beat. And with a team like Golden State, who have nobody down there, I mean, you don't even have you have Looney, you have Draymond Green, and who
That
else you
new
have?
guy
You have what
with the long
Jackson,
last name.
the Jackson something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy. Um, if that's your if those are your reserves to stop Anthony Davis, you're not going to stop Anthony Davis. I mean, Draymond will do an okay job of letting him score at least 20 something. But other than that, he's going to have his way. The Lakers are big. Their starting five are big, and the Golden State Warriors are small. Um, I think it's going to come down to the fact that the Lakers are at home. As long as AD is there and AD is 100%, I just don't see a way Golden State gets this done. They're going to make it a game. They're going to have a puncher's chance. They're going to come out and punch the Lakers in the face. But I think just the way the Lakers play, where they just pound it in a lot, and not a real they're not a big perimeter team where they shoot a lot of threes. They can shoot threes, but they're going to get inside. The Golden State doesn't have what they need to just stop them. If roles were flipped and Golden State got to that ninth place, I think they might be able to challenge them at home because they can feed off that Golden State crowd. But in Los Angeles, in that arena, I just don't see it. And LeBron's going to be LeBron, and he's going to do he's going to do whatever he can to get them to these playoffs. So I just can't vote against the Lakers in this situation. So I say the Lakers win a close game until the fourth quarter. I think the Lakers will pull away. Pull away.
Hmm. So yeah, I think we both come to the same conclusion. I think the Lakers definitely have the edge in this one, but I think there's a really big wild card that a lot of people are not taking in consideration, and that's Klay Thompson. And he's been very high and very low this season, but when a one game and he does shoot pretty well in LA. I'm just saying I don't I don't want to pick against the Lakers, but if I was a betting man and this is a winner take all type of situation, we know what Curry's going to do. We know they're going to blitz Curry. They're going to try to run him off the line. They're going to do whatever they can. He'll get his. Draymond, I mean, I know he had a hot shooting game. The other day they
He's
played
on
the
five
Lakers.
for five again.
We're going under that screen every time, big dog. All
Yeah.
right, we ain't worried about that.
Yeah.
If we gonna lose the game to Draymond hitting 5 or 6 threes, hey, I tip my fro to you, dog, and we're gonna go ahead and go home. But I think the key is Klay Thompson. I think what the dimension that he brings when he's on, it turns that team all the way upside down. Like the ceiling for that team, they're not getting out the first round. Let me be very clear about that. But with a Klay Thompson shooting the lights out, they could beat any of these playing teams. One game, winner take all, easily could.
Mhm.
But I just want to give Klay his respect, and he made a comeback this season. But that being said, Lakers got this one. Home game, like you said, they rough them up in the paint.
That's
Draymond can
big.
do so much, Looney can do so much, the other guy can do so much, even though that other guy, he is a little bit more athletic and he can, get up there and challenge some stuff. He's still undersized, and Lakers have too much experience to really lose a game like this of this magnitude when they know that they could go home. So I
Mm.
expect a big game from LeBron, Anthony Davis, maybe some key contributions from Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura. And obviously, D'Angelo Russell, he plays very well against Golden State as well. He was a big reason why we overcame them in last year's playoffs. I don't see any reason why he won't dominate and, give us 15 to 25. And we take this home in a convincing fashion in the fourth quarter. Um,
I agree. You don't think much of Kaminga? You don't think he's going to be a big
I
factor?
mean, I don't think he's really proven. I don't think he's going to get as many touches as he
Mm.
did in the regular season. I think Kerr, he's kept a tight leash on his bench. Like
Mhm.
playoff situations, Kaminga probably ain't he might get some burn, but just given Kerr's track record, he's going that death lineup. Maybe throw in a Moody or a Kaminga at the beginning, like first half, but second half, none of them starters are sitting down for a significant period of time. For Kaminga to do something to make a difference, no, I think it's going to be them starters and Kaminga and
That's his,
the players.
that's why he should be moved on because Ty Lue would go with the young guys, but that's a whole nother story. But okay, I
I
mean I
saw
agree.
your video with Kaminga. You want Kaminga coming to the Spurs?
We gonna
We'll,
get him.
we'll,
We
we'll
gonna
get
get him.
back into that another day. But
We gonna get
I
him. We gonna get him. We got
but
the piece. We got the. We can give him some draft picks. They'll give us Kaminga.
Kaminga should be one of their cornerstone future pieces. But I digress.
Steve Kerr.
So next we have the East 7 and 8 seed. The 7 seed Sixers will play the 8 seed Miami Heat. Two teams we thought would be, mid-level to I'd say anywhere from like 1 to 5 ish. More three to five, 3 to 6. I'd say that's a little bit more accurate, especially in Philly's case. But they've sank, so here they are, 7 and 8. Who you got?
That's a tough one, man. That's a see. You don't know what's going to happen, and that's the beauty of the play-in because now teams that kind of bottom out due to injury can kind of fight their way back in. Um, I was going to say that the sure bet is Miami, but with Embiid back, Embiid's playing okay. I mean, he's still getting into NBA shape, basketball shape, and of course we know the playoffs are a different beast. But if I had to pick a team between Miami and the Sixers, I would actually go Sixers right now
Hmm.
because I think that as long as they have Maxi playing, as long as they have Embiid playing his minutes, I wouldn't put him out there for 45 minutes. No, he's got to play, a certain amount of time to keep him, able to do the things he can do. But with those wings, if Miami's going to make it into the playoffs, let me say that. But I think they'll lose this game because I just think the Sixers have a little too much. Bam's going to be Bam. Jimmy's going to be Jimmy. Tyler Hero's getting himself back into the rhythm of the Miami Heat. And that's the thing. Miami has a lot of shooters, but I just think the Sixers are a better team, top to bottom. So I think they'll beat Miami in that 7-8 matchup. But I think it's a lock that Miami gets in the playoffs.
Again, I'm gonna have to say I disagree. I think Miami's tested.
Mm.
I think they're proven, obviously well coached, and we
Mm.
saw just last season, last postseason. You
Okay.
bring a hobbled star to Miami, they smell blood, man. They're going to throw all kinds of coverages at
Do
Embiid.
they
They're going
have
to
the
make
same?
it.
Do they have the same lineup? Do they have the same personnel?
I mean, they don't have the same exact pieces, but because they're so well coached, you can put just about anybody out there. They run this like high level zone that's really not that hard to counter, but for whatever reason, um, they trap, and they are
Mhm.
very good at closing out, rotating, switching, all kinds of things on the defensive end. They're gonna bother them, right? And if you take Embiid out the game, and he does not perform very well against Miami in the past. Even when the Sixers have been favored in a lot of matchups against them, Miami just sends them home. And
Mhm.
and yes, not a lot of their key contributors are Rusty coming back off injury, like you said, Tyler Hero, but they
Mhm.
got that bad man, Jimmy B, man. And I don't see him letting them lose. I mean, unless he just really wants to play the Celtics in the first round. But I think especially because I don't think Jimmy Butler gets a lot of credit for his
He-
mental in this game. But I think they take care of business. They get a little bit of rest. They get the other guys more rhythm, whatever. And let's just say, because like I said, think of it like this: if you're asking me who's going to win this, I still have Miami. But then I think if you're Miami, do you want Boston in the first round or do you want the Bucks? Personally, like I said, I'm not going to deep dive it, but I think Miami likes their chances against either one of these teams, considering they beat them last season,
Exactly.
right?
Remember what they did last season? They lost
Exactly.
to the Hawks. I believe it was in the 7-8 range. The Hawks stomped them, but they got the matchup they wanted was Milwaukee. So
And that's why I'm kind of like thinking about, because if Miami wants to win this game, if they want Boston, I guarantee I believe that they will beat the Sixers. If they
mhm.
don't, then they're gonna mop whoever between the Bulls and Hawks. They're gonna beat them whoever, and I think that's what I'm kind of paying more attention to than just the specific matchup, because I think it's Miami's kind of choice. As long as they take care of business, they can take the seventh or the eighth seed, whichever one they want, in my opinion. But if you're asking me if Miami wants to win this game against the Sixers, they will beat the Sixers. Well coached. Embiid still hobbled. He's not 100%. If Embiid was 100% and they had a lot more fluidity and more cohesiveness going into the postseason, I'd give you a different answer. But for me, I'm going with Miami.
Yeah,
Um, and then of course we got battle of the butt cheeks. We got the Bulls and
exactly.
the Hawks. I'll give mine. I'll give mine first for this one.
Does anybody care? But yeah.
As the best say, no one really cares. I mean, the Bulls stink. The Hawks. I mean, the Hawks aren't terrible. They just slid because Trey Young's been,
Mhm.
dealing with his injury with his hand or his finger or something like that. Um, they said he could return for, like, I think the last game or two of the season or
I
for the
think he's coming
playing
back.
game.
Yeah.
So I mean, I look for him to scorch the Bulls. I don't have much faith in the Bulls. Keep it honest with you. No Zach Levine because he's out for the rest of the season. DeMar DeRozan is cool. Kobe White's been playing very well, but I got the Hawks in that one. And what it don't matter because they still gonna lose to whoever.
Yeah, either team, the 7-8, whichever team loses from the 7-8 is going to beat the 9-10 team out east. We know that the Chicago Bulls are one of the absolute worst 3-point shooting teams in the entire NBA. So you're not going to win a championship. You're not going to go far if you can't shoot threes. I think the Hawks will win just because they have the offensive players to beat what Chicago has. Because Chicago, I don't even know how Chicago got here, but um,
Because everybody else in the East is terrible.
there you go. So I don't know how they got here, but this is the Hawks game to lose. Now they're not going to beat Miami or Philadelphia, so they just know, hey, this is a consolation prize. We can beat our team in the playing tournament, our 9-10 seed, and we can just go on to get destroyed by whichever team is in that 7-8 loss range. Um, but they did they proved us wrong. What was that? No, it was the bubble or it was the 2021 where
Yeah, when
Trey
they
went
had
off?
that Disney Miracle Run,
Yeah,
Trae
yeah, yeah.
Young and all
So
them.
yeah, it might have been 2020, but even with the miracle run, it doesn't matter because of who's at the top. But yeah, I think I'm gonna agree with you here. The Hawks will probably win. I think Trey gets what he wants because the Chicago Bulls are terrible, and he'll grind out a win against Chicago. Nobody will care about that. Miami or Philly will go down there, beat one of them, and we'll have our 1 through 8.
Okay. So speaking of 1 through 8, we got the top two seeds already pretty much. I mean,
Hmm.
for the most part, locked in. I mean, things could move a little bit, but as it currently stands out in the West, Denver's got the 1 seed and the Timberwolves have the 2 seed.
Hmm.
So if you were a coach or a player on the Nuggets or the Timberwolves, we'll start with the Nuggets. What team do you not want to see if you are the Denver Nuggets?
There's no team that if I was the Nuggets that I'm scared of, who I don't want to see first. I think is an obvious answer. You don't want to see the Lakers first just because of their size, because their size is kind of equivalent to what you have. You would obviously want to see Golden State because you are just head and shoulders above them. But you don't want to see the Lakers, but the Lakers are fodder to you, really, unless AD goes 2020 AD, bubble AD. Um, then you might have a little problem. But other than that, and if D'Angelo just decides he's going to turn into playoff D'Angelo, which we've never seen ever, so if he just somehow musters up that that kind of aura for the first round, maybe. But if I'm Denver, I'm not scared of anybody in the A seed. But I would have I would be a bit cautious with the Lakers because I think that you see them first round, you know how things went in the conference finals. The Lakers were in all those games. They actually could have won. Most of those games came down to the fourth quarter. We know what the Denver Nuggets have. They don't have the bench they once had. So you can't trust Reggie Jackson. You're not going to trust Christian Brown. So you got to go with your starters. You got to hope none of those guys get in foul trouble, which the Lakers are notorious for getting teams in foul trouble because they get to the line a lot. Um, but Davis can't stop Jokic, so you just have to hope that everybody on your team can match whatever else is going on with the Lakers. But you know you're gonna win the matchup between Jokic and Davis. So I mean, you have a slight cautiousness about them, but other than that, not scared of nobody.
Yeah, so I disagree. I think the Nuggets have the Lakers number. Don't matter what's going on.
Mm,
The
okay.
matchups, man, the matchups are bad, and you hit it on the head with Jokic and AD. You would think AD was more athletic, a better athletic specimen, I would say. That don't mean nothing, man. That big, slow white guy on the Nuggets, man, he be beating up AD like he
Unstoppable.
owe him money.
Yep.
So I mean, like you said, and D'Angelo Russell, as well as he shoots, we know good and well he's getting hunted in the playoffs. Like
Hmm.
like I said, it's just he's not a defender, and everybody knows it. So for them to exploit that mismatch. I don't want if I'm the Nuggets, I want the Lakers, right? I want you guys to beat the Warriors, right, and then beat whoever loses the Suns and Kings game.
Hmm.
Do it for me, because I'm gonna just tell you right now. Yes, the Nuggets got a little worse, and they did lose their bench, but man, it's 1 through 5. They're a well-oiled machine, man.
They are.
It's going to take a lot for the Lakers to overcome the Nuggets because they are just so talented in their starting lineup. Where our starting lineup, we can have contributors, 2 key contributors in LeBron and AD. They can show up. D'Angelo Russell, he doesn't really show up some games. Austin Reeves can kind of
You
go
have to
hold
have
some
a
games.
concerted effort, top to bottom, for the Lakers to really match up well.
And
But
that's why
you don't give anybody else a chance in that.
I say if I don't want to see the Suns like
Ooh, okay.
as everybody gives them flack for their defense and everything, but I'm just telling you, we just look at last season. There's their first year together. They didn't have Bradley Bill. They had a hobbled Chris Paul. They really hung with the Nuggets. The Suns gave them a good scare, good run for their money. They got another year under their belt. They got a little bit deeper. Frankie V, he kind of can dig into his bench a little bit, and
Hmm.
we'll see of how that would go. When we go to a 7 game series.
Hmm.
But if you're asking about a coach who makes adjustments, Darvin Ham does not. He's notorious for the guy to put Rui Hachimura on Nikola Jokic and think that was a good idea because he stopped him like 2 plays out of the other 40 that he was getting scorched on. Makes no sense to me. Whatever. But yeah, for me, I'd say the Suns. I think they match up a little bit better. They have the firepower to bury a team like Denver, which the Lakers, they're like you said, they can shoot it, but they, especially D'Angelo Russell, he takes a lot of low quality 3-point shots, and he's one of our heavy hitters. Even though he's playing very well this season, best
Yeah.
basketball he's played in a while.
Yes.
And Reeves can be inconsistent. LeBron shooting the ball at an elite clip this year, but again, his shots is inconsistent. AD's not shooting the ball and even looking at shooting it outside of like 15 feet. So I say all that. I have the Suns as a team that would definitely give them a good scare, but would not beat them. Um,
Okay.
what do you got for the Timberwolves? Who do you not want to face if you're the Timberwolves?
Yeah, if I'm Timberwolves at the number 2 spot, I do not want. I don't want the Suns. I don't want Sacramento. And matter of fact, I'm gonna say I don't want none of those four. Not right now with Carlton Towns possibly coming back and having to get back into basketball shape because they're a good team. They were the best defensive team in the NBA, but those teams have so much firepower, and we saw what Denver did to Minnesota last night. And Rudy Gobert, for as good as he is, and he'll probably win his fourth Defensive Player of the Year. You can go after him. You got LeBron can go after him. AD can go after him. From Golden State, they have players. Kaminga can go after him. And then go up to Sacramento. Sabonis isn't going to be scared of him. And then up to the Suns, Nurkic plays him okay. So you got 4 teams that have a lot of wing guys that can just go after him. Anthony Davis is great, but he's not proven yet. And without Cat, I mean, Nas Reed has played really, really well, and he's going to get himself a decent contract at some point. Yeah, he's gonna get that money. He's played well, but is he ready for this? I don't know if he's ready. Jaden McDaniels, I believe his name is. He's solid, but I think they'll. I think Minnesota. If I was that 7 to 8 to 10 range, I'm trying to get that 7th spot because if I'm the Suns or if I'm Sacramento, I want that because those guys are ripe for the taking. You're not going to expect Anthony Edwards to score 51 points throughout a series. He's good, but he's still young. That's all they have. So if Cat ain't there, that's all they have. Nas Reed's going to give you a little something, but I think teams are smart enough to be able to defend him. And as good of a defensive team as they seem to be through the regular season, in the playoffs, I think the Suns can exploit them. I think Sacramento can exploit them, and they're just not ready. I don't think they're ready for that next move. You've been high on them. I became high on them, but due to these injuries and the things at the end of the season, I just think it was the unfortunate perfect storm for everybody else and not for them. And I think I could see them a first round out.
And even though since the Thunder do have the same record as the Timberwolves, they're both sitting currently at 55 and 25.
Hmm.
Things could shake up, and
Yeah.
that two spot could go to OKC, and then you got a potential rematch with uh, Kevin Durant and his whole old team. Against
OKC don't want that. They don't want that.
OKC is. I'd keep your eye on that number two seed because a lot can shake up for that. But I digress. Timberwolves, obviously, since the Lakers have no shot of making it to the seventh seed, um, I won't see the Lakers. I would love to see the Lakers play them.
They
Obviously,
don't
the
want the Lakers.
the Timberwolves are a big team, but so are the Lakers. The Timberwolves do have the length and size to bother the Lakers, but in terms of execution, that's where the Lakers are going to have the
Hmm.
convincing edge, just like a team against like OKC. Again, could experience execution. They got a guy named LeBron James who's going to pick and roll and find that mismatch every single time and continue to exploit it. And with a young team like the Timberwolves or the OKC Thunder, they're just susceptible to getting outclassed by LeBron.
Hmm.
Um, as bad as Darvin Ham can coach and not make adjustments at timely times, I think LeBron would be the absolute worst thing for the Timberwolves. But since
Absolutely.
there is no LeBron, I would have to say the Sacramento Kings. I think the Kings, especially when you have Sabonis playing as well as he's played,
Hmm.
he's the worst matchup for a guy like Rudy Gobert. He can pull him out of the basket. If they want to go match up toe to toe, he eats him alive. He eats up AD too, but that's a different conversation for a different day because whoo, Sabonis be killing him. But I would say that, and I would say again, I mean, obviously the Suns, I mean not the Suns, the Kings have some missing weapons. I still wouldn't want to see them in the first round if I was Timberwolves.
Yeah.
Um,
I think I think Timberwolves and OKC, although they've been great this regular season, they're gonna have a tough time in the playoffs. Regardless of who they meet. I think what the 3-6 matchup right now is them and the Pelicans.
yeah,
Um,
3-6 is them and the Pelicans.
okay.
4-5 is
And
Clippers,
we'll
Mavs.
definitely get into. We're gonna do the playoffs. We're gonna go in depth for the playoffs when those matchups materialize. But I think those top the 2-3 teams are going to have a tough time with whoever they match up with come playoff time. And I
I
think
definitely
Denver's
agree.
okay, but I think Denver will. If the Lakers slide into that eighth seed, I think Denver's going to have a little. They're going to have a. I don't think they'll be knocked out, but I think they're going to get beat up a little bit going into the second round of the playoffs.
No, I agree. So we'll take things out east. Go ahead and wrap this up.
Yeah.
So if I'm the Celtics, I would say that the worst team, it's kind of no brainer to me. It's the Miami Heat.
Hmm.
Again, Celtics live and die by the three. I've said it a bunch of times on this channel, and obviously, if you watch the Celtics, you know they love to get them threes up, and if they hit them, you're going to get buried. But if you have an experienced team like the Miami Heat who play that specific zone and
Hmm.
kind of force certain players on the Celtics to think so they can play hero ball to win the game, like a Jason Tatum, a Jalen Brown. They ain't really guarding Drew Holiday. I'll be honest with you. I'm sitting on that shot too. But yeah, I mean, I think Miami is the best. I guess has a good chance of upsetting them based on
Hmm.
how they're coached and how the Celtics are a very three heavy team. Won't deep dive it, but that's my pick. And then for the Bucks, if I'm the Bucks, and obviously it would have to be the Sixers or the Heat, even though if I could pick one of those four, I would actually say the Hawks. But the Hawks have no shot of making the seventh seed. But if they did, and I'll say a little bit here, a guy like Trey Young is very, very bad for a guy like Doc Rivers. And I say that again because Doc Rivers does not adjust. So Trey Young will figure out how to score on them and how to exploit, Damian Lillard, Malik Beasley, which now they've taken him out the lineup and switched him
Hmm.
out for Patrick Beverly. Hey, Patrick Beverly is a scrappy defender, but I promise you, Trey Young will hunt that matchup alive. And DeJounte Murray, both of them together, even though they're not the best fit, would definitely dominate against the Milwaukee Bucks.
Mhm.
Um, but if we're going to be realistic, if I'm the Bucks, I would say you could make the same argument. You could say you don't want to play Miami either. I mean, that's the worst team that they could play is Miami from either
Mhm.
the Celtics or
That's
the
the
Bucks.
first round. Yeah.
Yeah, as a first round, you don't want to see Miami. Like, but if I had to pick somebody else, I would just say the Sixers because the other two teams. I mean, like I said, like the Hawks, but they're not going to do it. They're not going to make the 7 seed, so it'd be the Sixers for the Bucks.
I mean, I agree with all you said. Boston may have. I think if anybody's gonna give them trouble, it's gonna be Miami. That's obvious. Miami is a good team, tough team. The Bucks, right now with Giannis being out, at least they say 1 2 weeks maybe, or maybe even longer with that Achilles soulless calf something.
Yeah, it's like his calf, and they checked his Achilles tendon too, and
Yeah,
his Achilles is good, but it's like calf is
yeah,
like day to day
yeah,
or something like that.
yeah. So without a complete Giannis, take your pick. Miami Sixers. You don't want to see any of them. The Bucks are prime for the taking. Um, the Hawks with the full team. I mean, we got Capella, Trey Young. I mean, with no Giannis out there, Capella's gonna get with Trey Young back in full effect. He's gonna get his. So, I, if I'm the Bucks, I'm just hoping Doc can find some kind of lightning in the bottle like he did with those Boston Celtics, 16 years ago. But
Nah,
if not, then yeah, I I, I could see most of those teams sending them home early. But Dame's been what Dame's been, and Boston I think will be okay. Miami's going to be a tough matchups, but I think with their starters and what they've done and their bench, they're going to get out of the first round, even if they play Miami. But the Bucks won't. I think the Bucks. Sadly, I'm a Bucks fan now with Giannis. They're going home. If they make it out of the first round, it will be a miracle. I'll say that against any of those teams.
yeah, I pretty much agree.
Yeah.
You have any closing words before we close out this episode?
Just please continue to like, subscribe, and enjoy the channel. Share it to whoever you want to. Just continue to show us love. We'll definitely be back with the full breakdown of these first round of playoffs. We're going to go each round, so check us out because we're going to go pretty much in depth and let you guys know what we think. We'll probably disagree, as you see, on
Oh
a
yeah,
few things, but it's going to be this play-in tournament is going to be a bloodbath, I think, and teams are going to go at each other. So it's going to be interesting to see how everything plays out.
I agree. Definitely hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new. Leave a comment. If you want anything for us to break down, anything specific, y'all just let us know in that comment section, man. Stay engaged with us.
Yep.
But that's it for me. That's all I
So
got.
yeah. So we will be back very soon with once this play-in plays out, we'll be back with our playoff breakdown.
All right, y'all.
All
Stay
right.
safe.
Yep.